Hello, yes, I am in sunny Tooting this morning. The traders are just opening up the market, and I think people here in Wandsworth are breathing a big sigh of relief that Daniel Khalife is back behind bars. And we're very lucky today to be hosted in the Brickwood Cafe, right in the middle of glorious Tooting market. Now, I used to live around here, and I can vouch for your superb banana bread. But generally, how are you finding businesses going?
It's hard. It's getting hard times. We've especially been hit by big bills. Utilities are killing us. We pay just over £5,000 a month on electricity. That's just 3 times over the rent. So, and ever since Brexit, it's even harder.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure lots of small businesses will really sympathise with that. £5,000 on electricity, that really feels unsustainable. I wonder what Rishi Sunak will do about that in the coming year. But thank you again for having us here. It is really great to be in Tooting. And now I will introduce you to our brilliant People's panel. Today we've got Tony, we've got Ollie, and we've got Kirsten. Tony, I'm going to start with you. Now, obviously, everyone is very, very pleased that Daniel Khalife is back behind bars, but there has been some criticism of this Conservative government that he was able to escape in the first place. Some people are saying that the state of Britain's prisons just aren't up to scratch. Now, Camilla is going to be talking to Alex Chalk, the Justice Secretary, later. What do you have to say to him about the state of Britain's prisons?
Well, we've been hearing a lot about prisons, and in particular the local MP highlighted the fact that at one point at Wandsworth there was only 7 warders on for a night duty of 1,500 prisoners. And I think that's where some of the concern lies, that where money is being allocated to things but it doesn't seem to be employed in the correct or effective way.
Thank you very much. That's really interesting. So perhaps it's not just about how much money is being spent, it's about the way it's being allocated. Now, Ollie, what do you make of that? Do you think it's a funding issue? You know, Labour have said that perhaps there might not be enough money going into the prison sector altogether, or do you think it is more a question of allocation?
I think it is more of a question of allocation. I mean, there's £4 billion, I believe, that the government is spending on the prison service and creating 20,000 new prison places in a new building programme. So it is more about how we get more out of the workforce that we actually have. And also, I do think, yes, it is a terror suspect and it is very bad that he was able to escape. But we have to remember, I think there's only been 4 escapee prisoners since 2017. 4, not hundreds like the public might think, 4. So I think we do need to maybe think, you know, we don't need to do wide-scale reform just over 1 escapee.
That's a really interesting point, and I'm sure Alex Chalk will be very pleased that you've made it. And what do you think about that, Kirsten? I mean, Ollie's suggesting there that perhaps this is more of a one-off than the public is sort of being led to believe at the moment. Do you sympathise with that? And is there anything you would like to say to the Justice Secretary about the state of the prison sector and this escape in particular?
So I think that, you know, one of the elements related to what happened, you know, here in Wandsworth recently is, you know, what happened at the prison seems to represent a lot of what's happening more broadly within the country, whether it's prisons or it's schools or it's our hospitals. You know, there's clearly mismanagement, lack of funding and or mismanagement, maybe a combination of both. And so clearly there's an issue with the way that this government has been running it, and I think this has been going on for a long time, and I think people want change, and I'm hoping that that's what the general election will reflect. But one of the things that I wanted to come back to briefly, and you know, in relation to, you know, the prisoner escape this week is, you know, the police obviously did an incredible job catching him in a really short period of time. So just wanted to commend them, and obviously MI5 for the work that they've done, because I think they did great catching him. There aren't very many, but when there are, obviously puts, you know, a whole borough at risk, and so I think they did a great job on that.
Thank you very much. Really nice to end with a positive message, and I'm sure that lots of people up and down the country will be echoing that sentiment. So that's what our People's panel here in Wandsworth have to say this morning. We'll be coming back to us after we've heard from Camilla's guest this morning. But for now, back to you in the studio.